Hi everyone, in this video, we are going to take a look at the Get the Gist strategy. And the Get the Gist is really a great strategy for helping our students to try to find the main idea of the things that they are reading. And for my money, this is the highest value strategy in reading comprehension that we can teach our students. Why is that? Well, if our students can summarize something, it means they really know it. They're able to take what's being presented, they're able to put it in their own words in a short summary. And so that shows that they've really got that understanding. So this strategy that we're showing here inside comprehension is something you can use with all your students. We're really packaging this as one to use for students who maybe they have strong alphabetics and fluency and vocabulary strategies, but they just can't really seem to tell you what a reading passage is about. So Get the Gist can help with that. But even if your students do struggle in those other areas, this is certainly a valuable skill to teach as well. Very high value strategy according to the research. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to model how I would teach this. And I'm going to pause every so often to come out of teacher mode and try to explain a little bit about what I am doing. So Get the Gist, really we would go through a reading and do that paragraph by paragraph. But I like to always teach from the concrete to the abstract. So I would suggest with your students, maybe start with a video. I'm going to start with a picture. So a good progression might be to start with a video and then move to a picture and then move to text. And like all strategies, showing this once, showing this twice is probably not going to be enough for your students to really get to know this. Research says sometimes it takes up to 7 exposures for a student to really understand a new technique. We may not have that much time in the classroom, but we need to at least show this strategy several times so students are comfortable with this. Always, when we start teaching, we need to make sure that we're tuned to the radio frequency that our students listen to all the time, and that is WIIFM, 98.7 on your FM dial, WIIFM, get it? That is not a radio station, but it's what's in it for me. We should always start with the why should we learn this, and so students know why what we're teaching them is valuable and how they can use it and why we're taking up class time to show them to this. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the why. So here I go. I'm going to launch into teacher mode, and I'll stop right after this. So guys, welcome to class. What we're going to do today is learn a strategy called Get the Gist. And this is a strategy that'll help us to learn and understand how to find the main idea for reading passages that we will read. And we're going to take several lessons to do this. Getting the gist really means that you're getting the main idea of something. And this is an important strategy to learn in 2 ways. First, it's going to help us make sure that we're getting the most important information out of what we're reading. And secondly, it's going to help us to create some main idea sentences that will really improve our ability to understand and remember what we read. So Get the Gist, very important. We're going to be spending some time on it over the next couple days and probably over the next couple weeks or so. Okay, so I'm going to stop. I'm out of teacher mode. So notice I explained the why, and I told them 2 reasons why the strategy was effective. So I always recommend for anything that you make sure that your students are aware of why you're doing this. So it really will help them to get the benefit of that. So back into demonstration mode. Okay, guys, so as we read passages, and we're actually going to start looking at a picture. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, so we're going to go ahead and start with that 1,000-word picture. But before we do, I want to show you how we're going to do the strategy. So for the Get the Gist strategy, what we're always going to be asking ourselves are a couple of questions. The first is, who or what is this mostly about? And the second one is, what does the author think? What do they feel, or what do they believe about the subject? Why did they write this, or why did they take this picture? What was their reason for doing this? So we're going to really focus on those questions all the time as we go around through. Who or what is this mostly about? And what does the author think, feel, or believe about the subject? And we've got a handy dandy graphic organizer here that's going to help us with this. We've got in our left side here, what's this mostly about? What does the author think, feel, or believe about the subject? What's the point? So let's start with the picture that I mentioned we were going to do earlier. And here is our picture. We're going to take a minute and look at it. We're going to look at all the details very closely. We're going to see, what's in the center, what's off to the side. We're going to see what kind of clues are there. So give you a couple seconds to look over this and study very carefully what's going on. Okay, so we've had a minute to kind of look at this. So let's see if we can see what's going on. I'm seeing a couple of things here. Just looking at the picture, I'm seeing vehicles here. And this kind of looks to me like not like a passenger car. I'm seeing guys dressed, excuse me, by the way, guys dressed in uniform. They look like soldiers there. This guy's got a full pack on, as well as the guy here in the center of our picture. I can see some other guys in the background. If I look really, really close, I can see this large tower. I can see this large building. Seems to me that this could potentially be an airport. It's got a lot of wide open space. Oh, and I see what looks like a jet engine over here and what looks like a wing. I bet we're dealing with a plane situation. So let's go to what's front and center. I can see this guy. He's got his full pack. But there's this sweet little girl that's running toward him carrying an American flag, and she's dressed in red, white, and blue, and she's got the little American flag bow tie on her head, and I bet she's just the cutest little thing. And this guy looks like he is tickled to death. He looks so excited. He looks so happy to see his little girl running up to greet him. So let's ask our first question first, and I'm going to shift back and forth between this. Who or what is this mostly about? And I'd say, since we're seeing his picture as opposed to the little girl's face, that this is mostly about the soldier. And yeah, so what's the deal? What's the soldier doing? Well, if we look back and we look at the picture, she's running out to meet him. It doesn't look like he's just coming home to work from a day. Maybe this guy's been on a deployment. He's been on active duty for 6 months, 8 months, a year, and he's been in Iraq or Afghanistan or Turkey or wherever. And he's coming home to greet his sweet little girl that he has not seen in months, and she's probably grown several inches. And daddy, daddy, she's crying out. So let's see what we can do here. So it's a soldier. Who or what is this mostly about? And it looks like he's coming home. There's a homecoming type situation there that he's dealing with. So we're going to try to answer our second question. What does the author think? What do they feel? What do they believe about the subject? And what's the point? So what's the point here? How does this guy feel? Well, we can see he's got a smile that would light up the night. He is so happy to see his girl. Imagine he's been missing her, and maybe they've been able to talk on FaceTime, but he hasn't seen her. He hasn't hugged her in months. I'm trying not to get choked up here. But he is so, so overjoyed to see his little girl finally after all this time. So what does the author think or believe? What's really the point of this? Let's just try to throw out, we're going to try to create a summary sentence that we mentioned earlier. And we're going to try to, a summary doesn't mean we're going to write down everything. We're going to try to do 10 words or less. The world won't end if we have 11 or 12. But we're going to try to get 10 words or less that really shows what's the author think, feel, or believe about the subject. What's the point? That's our goal, to create a 10-word summary sentence. So I'm going to throw some things here on the paper. And the first try may not be right, and there's also probably going to be several sentences that we create that would be fantastic and really get the main idea of this. So I'm just going to start with something. I'm just going to say the soldier is happy. I'll say in advance, generally every time that I type or write on the board, I start spelling things wrong, so I apologize in advance. So I want to ask myself, did we really get everything here? Go back one more time to the picture. Did I really capture everything that's going on? We had the soldier, the homecoming, he's happy. Did we really get everything? I'm thinking we could probably do a little bit better. I'm going to leave this sentence up so we'll know and we can learn from it. Let's see. Maybe it would be helpful to talk about why the soldier's happy. And we were trying to figure that he was probably returning from duty. So maybe we'll say something like the soldier returning from active duty is happy. Okay, did we get everything there? We've definitely got less than 10 words, but he's returning from active duty. Did we really get though why he's happy? You know, he's out of harm's way, nobody's shooting at him anymore. That's certainly something to be happy about. But he's really happy because he sees his sweet little girl that he hasn't seen in so long. So let's add something about that little girl. So the soldier returning from active duty is happy to see his daughter. Well, I actually spelled everything right there. So I think we pretty well have everything because we've got the soldier, we've got the homecoming, because we mentioned that he's returning, or we could say maybe returning home. That might be a good addition. From active duty is happy to see his daughter. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We got about 12 words, and maybe we could tighten that up a little bit, but it's, you know, it's pretty close to what we were after. The soldier returning home from active duty is happy to see his daughter. Maybe we could say returning home from duty. That would get down a word there to get us closer to 10. So we've done it. We've really figured out who or what this is mostly about, a soldier and their homecoming, and what the author thinks or believes or feels about this. What's the main point? That the soldier returning home from duty is happy to see his daughter. And happy is probably an understatement. Maybe we'll say is thrilled to see his beloved, precious daughter there. So, okay, stop. I'm going to come out of teacher mode here. So what we did again was we really talked with the students what we were going to do, try to create a 10-word or less summary sentence. We were answering the 2 major questions. And you know, notice that we went through several iterations here. We went through several trials before we got something that we were really happy with. And so, yeah, I would say start this with some short videos. Maybe public service announcements are good because they're usually short and to the point. Start this with pictures. It's good. But you're demonstrating this. You're doing this with direct instruction. So you're doing most of the heavy lifting early on. As time goes on, you're going to ask more and more for participation from your folks in your class and get them talking. And you know, a good way to do this is some scaffolding. And scaffolding is just that fancy educational term for we give our students more help and support at the beginning, but then over time we expect them to be able to do this independently. And so we ask them to do more and more and more as time goes on. So that's a good strategy. So you know, maybe you demonstrate it, then you get your help from the class. Maybe they work as a table group, then maybe they work as pairs, and then maybe finally they work as individuals if your class is set up that way. So, okay, I'm going to go back then into teacher mode for the second one. We're going to do one in this case with a paragraph because I want to show you about that. Again, in my classroom, I probably want to do something where we first did a video, maybe a couple videos, and then pictures before we dived into doing this. I'm going to change my pointer option into a pen so I can do some circling here. So, okay, going back into teacher mode here. So guys, so we're going to try to do this again, try to figure out who or what this is mostly about, and create a 10-word or less summary sentence on what the author thinks, feels, or believes. What's the point of this? But now we're going to use a short paragraph reading passage. So let's read it first, and we may probably read through this a couple times to really get it down. It says, excellent communication skills are highly important in today's workplace. These skills involve both written and oral communication. Have you ever received an email and wondered what it was saying? Well, to prevent this, strong communication skills are necessary so emails and reports are easily understood by everyone. When talking with coworkers, employees must be able to communicate their point of view clearly. Outstanding presentation skills help persuade others and communicate ideas to people both inside and outside the company. Employees should also keep their boss and coworkers aware of their progress on projects so there are no last-minute surprises. Keep everyone in the loop through regular communication. So what I'm going to try to do here first is try to figure out who or what is this mostly about. And one way to do it is if I can see that certain words or certain ideas are repeated throughout, I know that this is probably what this, what this is mostly about. And I'm really seeing something coming out to me. I'm seeing this word communication come up a bunch. And I see communication skills is important in the first paragraph, oral and written in the second paragraph, strong written in this paragraph. So emails and reports are understood. Oral conversation that's mentioned in communication. Presentation skills, we see the word communication again. And also about regular projects that are going on that a boss might have assigned to you, trying to keep them apprised of what's going on. So I see communication, 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 communication repeated over and over and over again. This won't always work, but many times it will. You'll see that repeated over and over again. So really, what's the deal with communication? Why are we talking about communication skills? Communication where exactly? But I see several times either mentioned the word workplace or implied workplace. We've got communication in the workplace, and it's discussing workplace communication, emails, reports, face-to-face conversation, presentation skills. And I see workplace, I see company, I see coworkers, I see the word employee. So it's really not just communication, but it really seems like it is communication on the job. So I'm going to get off my PowerPoint here for a minute. I want to keep those ink annotations. So let's go back to our graphic organizer. Who or what is this mostly about? This is certainly about communication. And I think even more so, this is about communication in the workplace, or maybe I could say workplace communication is what this is all about. So now I'm going to try to go back and think, what does the author think, feel, believe about this? What's the point of this? So let's look at it again. Communication skills are highly important in today's workplace. These skills involve both written and oral communication. Have you ever received an email and wondered what it was saying? To prevent this, strong written communication skills are necessary so emails and reports are easily understood by everyone. When talking with coworkers, employees must be able to communicate their point of view clearly. Outstanding presentation skills help persuade others and communicate ideas to people both inside and outside the company. Employees should also keep their boss and coworkers aware of their progress on projects so there's no last minute surprises, and then keep everyone in the loop through regular communication. So we're seeing workplace communication. Looks to me like a lot of it is examples of it. Emails that we're getting, talking orally with coworkers, presentation skills. So a lot of it's really describing why communication skills are important, it seems. So what's our goal again? We're going to try to get a 10-word or less summary sentence that really hones in on, or really dives in on, what does the author think, feel, or believe about the subject? What's really the point? So I might say something like, strong communication skills are needed. Let's see here, because it gets the communication part, but did it get the workplace? And I don't think we mentioned anything there. So maybe we could say strong communication skills are needed in the workplace. But did we get the why? Because we saw several things. Strong communication skills, workplace, but why? So things are understood. So I really see a lot about understanding it. Even this keeping the boss and coworkers aware is really about their understanding of what's going on. So let's just throw something out here. Strong communication skills are needed in the workplace. So everyone, there we go again with the spelling. So everyone understands what is happening. So we've got communication skills, we've got the workplace. We've got a little bit about the why. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We've got about 14 words. Maybe we could tighten that up. Why don't we toss workplace here? Strong workplace communication skills are needed. So that saves us a couple words, are needed. So everyone understands what's happening. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's pretty darn close to 10 words with just 12 are needed so everyone understands what's happening. I think that would work. Again, this is not the only right sentence we could have. We could have several that might work out well, and we could probably, if we spent some time, make this one even better. So stop, I'm going out of teacher mode. This will give you an idea about how to work with the get the gist strategy. So I would really encourage you, always start from the concrete to the abstract. Start with a video, start with a picture, start with some really short paragraphs when you move toward that, and then move on to longer, a little bit more complex ones. And your students will really get a good handle on this. Again, very high value strategy. Would really recommend you spend some time doing this, because gosh, if our students can summarize the things that they've read, they've got it. And when you ask them, hey, what was that reading about? They can tell you if they're able to do this skill. Take some work, remember multiple exposures, but students can get this. And this is well worth the class time to do this. Reading experts that I've talked with really think that this is a high value strategy, and be interested to see how things work with your students. Keep us posted about how things go. And thank you so much for your attention on this video.